Milk bottles. Izmir, Turkey, 2008. Filtered light danced across our white IKEA comforter. Saturday morning meant little in this culture, and the daily jackhammering on our street had started an hour earlier than usual. For once, I had woken up earlier than the 6-month-old in the crib next to our bed. He slept, blissfully unaware of the construction. I was glad. His sister and dad were still asleep, too, so I twisted my way out of the covers, maneuvered around the crib, and tiptoed down the hall. It's a rare thing, as a mom with little kids, to behold a few moments of solitary quiet spread before you. I chose to take advantage. I slipped outside onto our balcony as the beans for my morning coffee brewed in the French press. I was taking a gamble that I might be caught in my pajamas by another early riser, but I'd grown used to being a foreign misfit in the neighborhood. The people here already found us strange in so many ways. Cultural differences aside, I was slowly growing to like where we lived. It wasn't always so. During our first year in Turkey, I was pregnant with our second baby and overwhelmed by how little life resembled what we had hoped for and expected. It didn't matter that there were 20 layers of civilization beneath this land, or that the nearby ocean was turquoise. That first year, I didn't want to live in a tourist destination. I wanted home. I was diagnosed with depression then. But in our second year, life was getting better. I no longer needed my index card of prompts in order to hold a basic conversation at the park. And weird things were becoming normal. I had stopped expecting pepperoni as a pizza topping option. The grandparents lived in a land called Skype. We had discovered a corner store an hour away that stocked cheddar cheese to save us if we got the cultural shakes. We were coping. My coffee was ready, so I tiptoed inside and poured a cup. I took it back to the balcony to sit at our little cafe table, journal in hand. I sipped and scribbled and stared off into space for half an hour. I watched an old woman kneel in the concrete pavilion at ground level and sort through freshly shorn wool from the family's sheep. Her grandchildren played with plastic toys nearby. I heard a neighbor boy in the courtyard yelling repeatedly for his mom until she finally opened the 7th floor window with exasperation. Ne? What? I saw a work-wrinkled man ambling down the road in his produce truck, driving at a snail's pace, and calling out the day's vegetables. My 3-year-old daughter, Tate, woke up and gleefully scampered onto the balcony to begin her day's important agenda of playing. She has never known the sleepy start to a morning. From birth, she was my 0 to 60 child. I tried to journal a little longer, despite her running commentary, but I could no longer concentrate and soon raised the white flag. She needed to tell me her latest plan for a tea party, and I needed to listen. The boys continued to sleep while we girls chatted and watched the world wander by. My husband, Kyle, eventually rose from bed, starting the morning with his usual routine of opening the front door to see what lay at the entrance. Usually, it was a bottle or two of milk. That was the case today, which meant we could make Dutch babies for breakfast. It wasn't 1950, it was 2008. And yet we awoke almost every morning to fresh, whole milk served in glass bottles. This was the fault of a man we nicknamed George, since we couldn't pronounce his real name. George was our doorman, a normal feature of apartment buildings in Turkey. And his job was to take care of us and the other 100 or so people who lived in the building. We would set trash bags outside our front door every other evening at 7:30. And by 8 o'clock, they were miraculously gone. The little garden surrounding the building bloomed with softball-sized roses in cotton candy pink and lipstick fuchsia, and this, too, was George's fault. If our hot water turned cold, we called George, and he would travel up the elevator with his toolbox. If we needed milk, bread, eggs, or the paper, we could let George know, and the next morning, it would be waiting for us on our front doorstep. He was our fairy. Milk was expensive in Turkey. We bought no more than 5 bottles or so weekly, and each bottle was only 1 liter. This provided a few cups to drink and maybe enough for a baking recipe, and then we would have to wait for the next morning's batch.